Hey guys, so in this one we're going to set up perfect block, or we can call it parry, and if we time it right we will be able to stagger enemies. First thing we need to do is there is an animation that you can import from the link in the description, and that will be this one here, stun loop. So this will be playing on enemy when we stagger them. So import it, the animation is already retargeted for SK mannequin, so select it, and after what we need to do is go to player, select gameplay tags, and we need to create new one. So go to character, status, and it will be under status, add new subtag, and this one we can call, as I said, parry, because we'll be parrying the attacks. Add new tag. Make sure you don't leave anything ever selected in the gameplay tag container by default, it will cause you a lot of issues. And then to set it up, what we just need to do is when we press right mouse button, we will have a parry tag for about 0.1 seconds. So in that time, if the enemy hits us, we will stagger them because that will be perfect parry. But if we miss that window, he will either hit us or we will block. So here, after the montage, on all of these combat types, we're going to add another gameplay tag. And this time we will add parry. So character, checks, status, and parry. And I don't really like to use delay too much, but this is the best solution to do here because this montage is looping, so it will be a little bit difficult to set it up with anim notifies. So instead, in the end, we'll just do delay. And we will do after 0.1 seconds. Let's be a little bit hardcore. So after 0.1 seconds, we're going to get gameplay tag container and remove gameplay tag, which will be character, status, parry. So there will be 0.1 seconds window to actually hit that parry, as I said. And then let's go to combat component. Then here we need to change a few things because it's a mess, and this calculate damage reduction should be after this switch, because let's say you want to have a status of burning, and in that burning status you want to maybe reduce the armor. So if you calculate it before that, you're not able to actually do it again. So we need to disconnect this part, move this to the front, move this one here, and then switch will go up here, and then calculate damage reduction will be of the false of this character status. And then we can also organize it because there is noodles all over the place. So what we can do is get these variables if you haven't already. So get damage, and connect it. Then this one is damage type, so get damage type variable and connect it. We got damage causer, so get damage causer, connect it. That's here twice. Second one is here. Then hit info, so get hit info, connect it. We can also close this and even move it where we are using it, so here. And what else? This is all clear now, and we can also maybe promote this final damage to variable. I think the local variable should be fine, so promote to local variable, and this will be local final damage DMG, and then again just connect it where it's needed, so up here. Then to modify current stat and return node, you can delete, and delete this. And now we only left with this one, which is much cleaner. We can also pack this. This is basically we are checking if we can block, if we have tag blocking, if we have good blocking angle, and also if we have blocking power. So leave this damage causer out. Select all of this, right click, collapse to macro, and this will be can block. And then we can just move it here. Right, that's much better. I'm also going to straighten this a little bit. And now we have this set up, so we can fix this switch, because at the moment this switch is not actually working. It is working a little bit in different way that I thought it would. So it's basically, if you want any of these status to execute, you need to have all of the tags that are currently actually enabled. So if we want to reach the invulnerability, we also have a weapon equipped, so you would have to go to character checks, weapon equip, select that one as well. We also dodging when we are invulnerable, because that's when we enable invulnerability, so we would also have to check if the actions is dodging, and only then this switch would actually execute. So as you can see, there is probably like 1,000 different combinations that we would have to take into account, so that's not possible to actually do. So what we can do instead, I found a pretty good solution. And that is that we will break this gameplay tags container, and then it will give us an array. And what we can do is do for each loop. So it will loop through all of the tags separately. So we will get a single tag here, and we can switch on that single tag. So from there, do switch. And since this is only checking one specific tag, not all of them that are currently selected, we can just set it up as we had before, which is character status invulnerability, then character status parry, and character status stunned. And we don't need a default pin, so we can uncheck this, and this should work correctly now. So on invulnerability, we don't need to do anything, because we basically just don't want to take any damage, so that's fine. And on parry, we will have to set up new combat interface function. So let's go to combat BPI, here add new function, and this one will be Stagger. And we only need to play it on enemies, because player shouldn't get, well, he can get staggered, but he shouldn't get perfect blocked by enemy, because enemy is not going to do perfect blocking. That just wouldn't make any sense. So we don't need to create any inputs, just add it to combat category. I think I don't have these ones added, so combat and combat. And then let's go back to combat component, and on parry we will get not the owner. So when we are parrying, we are the owner, we are taking the damage, but if we are parrying, the damage causer needs to get staggered. So we will get damage causer again, and we will call stagger message on parry. And now in the enemy, so let's go to third person, blueprints, NPCs, enemy. And what we want to do is find this interface function. Stagger is the first one, and first we will play montage. Before I forget, let's do mesh in skeletal mesh component. And first thing we're going to play is, let's go to animations. It won't be the stun loop straight away. We will do the block break we have for player when we run out of block. So this will be the first montage. But again, we need to change some of the settings here, blend in and blend out, and I don't want to change it for the default one for player. So what we can do is select this animation for block break and duplicate it. And this one will be perfect parry. Open it up. There is some animation notifies set up, so we can delete all of them. We don't need them here. And then rate scale doesn't need to be slowed down that much. Maybe we can do 0.8 or 0.7, because it will also play the stun loop after. So 0.7, save it. And then let's also check enable root motion. We already have it on this one, but also do it for stun loop, enable root motion. And now select both of these, so perfect parry and stun loop. Right click, and we're going to create anim montages. Then on anim montages, first one, this one, let's change this to inertialization, so it will actually blend in nicely with the movement. And then few things we can change in here is blend out time. That needs to go into stun loop. We will do 0.75, so it's a little bit longer. This one can stay -1, blend in, that's okay. Save it. And now on enemy we can first play that perfect block, was it? Perfect parry. And then on completed we will do one more montage, so copy this. On completed we will play stun loop. We're not going to be looping it, we only will play it once, or maybe later we can extend it by doing 2 of them together, because I think it will be better. It's a bit short. And actually let me maybe slow it down a little bit on the animation. On the stun loop, rate scale will be 0.8. And now we'll play it. And one more thing we need to do is we need to turn off the AI, otherwise it will try to run or like turn towards us during the montage. So let's drag out the pawn sensing, at least while we have this shitty blueprint AI logic setup. And we're going to set what is it, enabled, set sensing updates enabled, and disable it, and then copy this, paste it here, and on completed again we're going to enable it again. Compile and save, and that's basically basic setup for Stagger. So now when I press block while he's attacking, and if I hit that time window right, I should be able to stagger him. Let's come here. I missed again. There we go. So I staggered in and I stun him. 2. Missed this time. As you can see, the window is quite small, but when you know the enemy attacks already, it's easier. And this is how I think it's set up in Elden Ring and all of the Souls-like games. Alright, so that's kind of working. He's going from one animation to stun, and he's staying there for a bit. We can maybe do it longer, as I said. But now what I want to set up first is some effect. So we want to have like a flashing effect that we actually parried, and then we can add sound as well. So for the effect, let's go to Effects, right click, we're going to create Niagara system. Here we're going to create empty one. So click on this one on the bottom, and we can call this perfect parry flash, because it will be flashing animation _ns. Open it up, and here I'm going to add the module. So right click, add emitter, and there used to be an empty one which is not here anymore, but I think if you add this minimal Niagara emitter, it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it should be. We can work with that. So here on this one, first thing, emitter state, we need to change a few things because we don't want to loop this forever. So first thing, let's where is the end of this? Let's move this to only 1 second. And then we're going to change this to self lifecycle mode. It won't be infinite, it only will play once. Fixed. System self, that's alright. And then we need to, on the emitter update as well, we're going to add new one. And this module will be spawn burst instantaneous. Alright, so it will just kind of like explode. You can't really see anything yet, but once we set it up, you will notice what it looks like. Then after, we will need to initialize particles. And on this one, we want to change the lifetime to random and do only 0.1 to maybe 0.2 or even 0.1 to 0.1. We'll see, because it's a flash, so it should be really quick. And then for color, we can do direct set maybe. Just leave it at white. Still can't see anything, that's okay. On the particle update, we need to do particle. Wait, one more thing, on initialize particle, we need to do sprite size mode. on this one, mesh attribute, we're going to do random non-uniform, and this will be 2 random non-uniform, sorry, and this one I'll just leave it at on 2 different sizes. Let's do 1.8, 1.8, 1.8 to 2.2, 2.2, and 2.2. Alright. After that, particle state is fine. That will just kill the particles. And in the render, we're not going to do sprite renderer. We're going to delete it, and instead we're going to search for mesh renderer. And on mesh, we need the actual mesh that we'll be using. You do have one by default, but I want to make my own. I want to make one that actually looks like kind of like an X, like basically Parry flash. So let's go to combat arena, let's go to modeling, and first thing we will need to create is rectangle, because that's just the plane. First thing, let's go to meshes, right click, new folder, and we can call this Parry flash mesh or something, I don't know. And then here we can do current folder, so it doesn't save just anywhere, and select it, accept, move it up, and then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees sideways, and I'm going to make it smaller, so something like this. I like it quite thin. You will see once I made it what it actually looks like. But then if you duplicate it, so we'll make a second one, you can hold Alt and move it up, and then this one will go to X and this one will go to X. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's actually better if it's not perfect X, if it's just kind of like random. And then just select both of these, and we can go to X form and merge, accept, and this one will now be perfect flash X, perfect flash, perfect Parry flash X underscore SM. And save all just in case, so we don't lose it. And we can remove it from here. Let's go to perfect Parry flash Niagara system, and here we'll search for it. So perfect Parry flash, that will be our mesh. And we also need to have actual material for this, so it's flashy and not just this random mesh, which you can't really see still. Wait, let me try to play the game. It's hard to see because it's only one-sided, as you can see. This is flashing. And one more thing we can do is we can increase the size during the lifetime. And for that we will need to do, here on the particle update, we will do a scale something, scale mesh, I think is it. Scale mesh size. Select it, and here a few things we need to change. This one will be vector from float or from curve. Let's do from curve. No, it's from float. So vector from float, and this one select next to it, and this one will be float from curve. And now we got the curve. We don't want it to get smaller, we want it to get bigger, so we'll go from 0, or actually here you can select curve and just find one, maybe this one, smooth, ramp up. Right. And you can see that will kind of flash, but now we need to add the texture, so let's save this. And for the texture, I have created one in the Photoshop. Again, this will be only on my Patreon together with the sound I have for parrying, so if you want to get it there. But for the texture it looks kind of like this. It doesn't look like much, there is few different kind of colors on the side, it's just a smudge again. That's what needs to cover basically that static mesh that we have created. And I made like a sharp edges and then a little bit different color on the outline, but as I said, you can't really see it very well. But after, what you need to do is let's go to materials, and we're going to create material, and this one will be again perfect Parry flash underscore m. Open it up, and here what we want to do is drag out that texture. You can use any texture you like for this, but it's better if you just do a smudge in the Photoshop with some brush. And we will search for particle color, so we can use it for Niagara system. We're going to multiply this RGB, and we're also going to multiply alpha by this one here and alpha from here, and then this will go to opacity, but we need to first change this one to surface, translucent, and default lit we can do unlit. And then this one is now opacity, this one is emissive color. I want it to be a little bit flashier, so I'm going to multiply this one more time by 10, so we have a brighter emissive color. And then we're going to apply it, and now we can go back to perfect Parry flash. And here in the mesh renderer, I'm going to there is an enable material that you have here. You can't really see it, so enable material overrides, and then in override material we're going to add new one, and this one will be the perfect Parry flash. And now you can already see what it will kind of look like. So it will just be like a white flash. Save it. And there is one more thing that it will show us facing to camera, but I kind of forgot where it is. Render. Let me just check quickly the notes I had done on this one. I think it's facing mode. Yeah, this facing mode here, and this will be for camera position, so it's always facing us. Save it. And now in the player, sorry, in the compat component, here before the stagger, we're going to spawn system add location. We need to move this up again, and this will be the perfect Parry flash, and I want to spawn it on the location of the just in front of the player. I don't want to find the location of the weapon, because then it can be a little bit random and stuff like that. So I like to do it just in front of the player when he's perfect parrying. So what we need to do is get owner, which will be the player when he's parrying, and we will get actor location, then get forward vector, and we need to add these two together. But I want to have like a 50 centimeters in front of the player, so we will add, right click to this bottom ones, convert it to float and add 50 to it, and then it will give us 50 in front of the player. Split this one. I also want to have it a little bit higher up than the middle of the player, so we'll add another value to Z, and this will be another maybe 50, 30, 50, we'll see. And then split this location, and X and Y goes from here, and Z goes from this plus. So that will be the location. Auto destroy, this is all the same. And we can also play sound. So this is another file I have in a Patreon with this texture, and I made this actually from like 3 different sounds, but I like it. Let me play it quickly. It's this block break. No, it's not the block break. It will be perfect parry or something. Perfect block. There we go. So let me just spawn sound 2D. Perfect block. And this pretty much sets it. So if we play the game now, let me get a shield, that will look better. And There we go. That flash was a little bit too high. Okay, that flash is way too high. So I'm going to change this to 10 plus 10 centimeters up. As you can see, there is quite a nice effect for block. There we go. Missed that one as well. I missed again. Come on. See, it's not that easy actually. Fucking hell. Excuse me for swearing. This guy was just taking a piss. There we go. Alright, I just think that the loop is a little bit too short. We can only execute maybe like 1 or 2 attacks during that. Oh, come on. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit longer. So what we can quickly do still in this video is go to sequencer. I'm going to delete whatever was here. This is not what I want, so I like to work with idle. So drag out idle, and then I'm going to add actor to sequencer, add idle, delete CR mannequin body. In the animations I'm going to add stun loop, and then I'm going to extend this, add one more animation, and this is stun loop again. And then I'm going to drag it behind this one. So now I have the double stun loop. And I'll probably also be changing the curves here so it doesn't move that weirdly. It's not that noticeable, it's fine. And then close this and bake it to CR mannequin body, create. What have I done? I dragged this in the beginning, so this one needs to be on the end. And now right click, bake to control rig, CR mannequin body, create, and then we can bake it together. And this will be bake animation sequence, go to third person animations, and it will be stun underscore loop underscore longer. Export to animation sequence. And now if I go to third person, animations, stun loop longer, I'm going to right click, create montage. And here, what do I need to change? 0.25 blend in, that's probably fine. And on enemy, I can just play the longer one. So stun loop, longer montage. So this will make a little bit more sense. Let me try to parry. Missed. There we go. That's quite a lot of time. That's good. And then again, it's getting a little bit longer, so I'll save like stuff like we should also be doing some react, like maybe smash with a shield if we have shield, or move a weapon or something. And then I don't know if we should create some stagger bar now or something. I'll see. So I'll see you in the next video then. Bye.